Welcome back to What's Now. Right now, we are going to turn our focus to investing, specifically which companies are investing in American businesses. Well, I recently had this fascinating discussion. Here it is.
The economic numbers in the last few months have been good. The economy is adding jobs after the pandemic, threw millions of people out of work. But there's another factor that keeps America's economy moving forward that a lot of people, if they're being honest, don't really understand, and that's capital spending. Each year, the Progressive Policy Institute publishes its list of investment heroes using publicly available financial statements to discover how much America's companies are actually investing in America. Dr. Michael Mandel, Chief Economic Strategist for the Progressive Policy Institute, is joining us to take a deeper look at this year's investment heroes list. Thanks for being here, Dr. Mandel.
Oh, glad to be here. Thanks very much for having me.
Let's start with how your Policy Institute comes up with this investment heroes list.
Each year we identify the companies that invest the most in the U.S. This is capital spending, plants, equipment, information technology, and so forth. And we publish a list of the top 25. This year's list was focused on those companies that actually stepped up to the plate during the pandemic and did what they needed to do to sort of help provide Americans with the capital spending that they needed to keep going. The number one company on our list this year was Amazon, which invested an amazing $34 billion in the U.S., according to our estimates, building out its e-commerce fulfillment centers, hiring hundreds of thousands of workers, and generally making it possible for a lot of people to have goods delivered at home when they could not leave because of the pandemic. We also had on our list a lot of broadband providers, companies like Comcast and CenturyLink and AT&T and Verizon. And what they did was they spent money on broadening and extending their networks in order to enable people to work from home, to do schooling, to do medical appointments. And we had tech companies like Google and Apple and Intel that spent billions of dollars building up the tech infrastructure that everybody sort of used during the at-home, the amazingly weird forced at-home period. So this was very much a digital list where 8 of our 10 investment heroes were digital companies in one way or another.
And how does capital spending help companies create jobs?
Think about you as a worker or anybody. You need to work with good equipment to sort of do a good job. If you're in a factory, you need to be working with the newest machinery. And if you're a truck driver, you need to have a truck that works. If you're working in an office, you need to have a computer that works and a good internet connection and good software. Trying to work a good job without capital investment is like trying to cross a street without shoes. You can do it. It's very slow. It's very painful. Ultimately, not very productive. In this world, job growth starts with capital investment.
And speaking of job growth, which sectors are you seeing the most growth in, and which are really struggling right now?
Well, I think what's interesting here is that we're seeing a rebound from the pandemic, and that we continue to see job growth in the digital sector. We're seeing rebounds in areas like food services and recreation that were obviously held back by the pandemic. The really interesting one is manufacturing. Americans are buying a lot of stuff these days, but is it being made in the U.S.? Are manufacturers investing enough? This is something where manufacturers have maybe not stepped up to the plate enough, and we're seeing some action in Washington where the Biden administration has some pro-manufacturing investment proposals as part of the American Job Plan. And this is something that could be very positive for job growth in manufacturing. So I would say at this point that manufacturing is a real question mark.
And overall, I feel like this is actually all really good news. Where can we get more information about everything we've talked about?
So your viewers can go to PPI's website at progressivepolicy.org, where they can read about investment heroes. And they can read all the other great material that we write about the economy and about policy and related subjects. And I highly recommend this website.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mandel, for joining us today. I appreciate learning more about the Progressive Policy Institute as well as capital spending. Thanks for spending the time with us.
Thank you very much.